here, still. Here we all are, and here I am. Oh, there you are. For you, there, I'm there. When we're all elsewhere later, we'll all have been here, but we'll all refer to everything as there. But for now, we're all here, the 100 Years Gallery. I've been looking forward, looking things up, looking up about the past, where they do things differently. We go elsewhere, we take a look around. When it's the past, we look things up, so we can look back, and most often look downward. Much that's medieval, for example, dark times, dark things, darker than anyone ever expected. Sometimes, rarely, we look up at what we looked up in the past. We see wonderful things in ancient Egypt, for example. We look into the future too. We rarely look up or down at that, mostly towards. We certainly look forward. I just said that back then, the recent past. We look into the past as well as into the future. So does that make it all a bit more sort of downish? When we look back, we're still usually looking forward. It's much easier, and we're not alone. For many, most, the future is ahead, the past behind. But some see future as behind and past as ahead. Depends on whether culture is past or future oriented. Doesn't matter what the language says, a temporal focus hypothesis, apparently. You still here? A question for Grimaldi, perhaps. He always says, they're behind you. So I thought I'd do something about 100 years. Not for about 100 years, although it may begin to feel like it. I looked into it. I looked it up. I found things out. For example, 100 Years' War was a series of conflicts between England and France during the late Middle Ages, quaintly coined Edward Caroline Lancaster, interrupted by several truces over 116 years. So it wasn't a war, and it wasn't 100 years. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death, rode the 600. Well, it wasn't 600, but 670 doesn't scan. Bugbears, an occasional series, the cause of obsessive fear, anxiety, irritation. See also pet hate, blame, aversion, peeve, vexation, curse, nightmare, torment, hang up, oh, okay, steady on. A late 16th century coining from bug and bear. Bugbear, a hobgoblin comparable to the boogeyman, the bugaboo or babao of folklore, to frighten disobedient children, and hung up medieval historians. More historiographical periodization. Easy for me to say, it's a branding thing. You know, pre-war, antebellum, the interwar years, or between the wars, because that is, of course, how everyone at the time would have referred to them. What about ages ago, donkey's years, since the year dot, time immemorial? Anyway, there's this I found. In the early modern period, the term historiography meant the writing of history, and historiographer meant historian. The early modern period, yeah, imagine that, okay. Battle of Bosworth, 1485, Richard III gets right royally buffed, combatants down halberd and broadsword, thanking goodness for the end of the medieval, looking forward to dismantling feudal infrastructure, getting on with enclosure, establishing Star Chamber, bathing the light of classical cultural recovery and the felicity of full coffers, modernity's advent. Also this, 100 years ago in the Valley of the Kings, Carnarvon's sojourners' eyes grow accustomed on this day of days, the most wonderful we have ever lived through, and those like, and whose like we can never hope to see again. It's all wonderful things. Looking forward then, 100 years ago, as contemporary poets, here instead might we then, to the gull's cry, exit the whirlpool, walk into clarity, declare this hellish experience wonderful, those bits of filthy magic with shuddering loins, for things are looking up. Yeah, still here. Soon you'll be going home time. Have we got everything? It might not be all bad, finding ourselves in 100 years ago with Grimaldi turning me around, just like the old days. Here we are again. I'm looking forward.